Hill, I'm a senior, and I do Persuasive. Imagine a starving polar bear stumbling across the ice, or a tiny cub crying over its mother's emaciated body. Death by starvation is not a pretty picture. Yet every year, numerous polar bears are dying because they do not have enough sea ice on which to hunt. These and other animals are starving each and every day because the sea ice is gone due to climate change. The melting ice caps, as well as global warming, rising sea temperature, and disappearing forests are all examples of how humans are causing the decline of the climate. And if this degeneration continues, it makes me sad to think what the future holds for these innocent animals. This is a problem that warrants looking into. Humans are causing climate change and need to take action to prevent it from advancing. First, we must understand natural climate change. Then provide evidence that humans are causing climate change to worsen, and finally, discover some fairly simple solutions to prevent climate change from occurring in the future. Climate change has been around since the world began. The Earth went from a blistering lava planet to one that harbors incredible life. The Earth goes through cycles of glacial advance and retreat. In the past 650,000 years, it has gone through 7. The reason the current cycle is so peculiar is because it is warming the Earth at an unprecedented rate, more than in the past 1,300 years. The Environmental Protection Agency defines this as the greenhouse effect. It is a process by which thermal radiation from a planetary surface is absorbed by atmospheric greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, causing the thermal radiation to be redirected, thus causing the global temperature to rise. Naturally, carbon dioxide is released in steady levels through ocean-atmospheric exchange, plant and animal respiration, soil respiration and decomposition, and volcanic eruptions. According to NASA, in the article, Climate Change, How Do We Know?, published on August 29, 2014, carbon dioxide levels have never exceeded 300 parts per million until 1950. This shows that while 400,000 years before today, carbon dioxide was entering the atmosphere, it was never as severe as after the Industrial Revolution. The Industrial Revolution is the key linking humans to the deterioration of climate change. Since the Industrial Revolution, human sources of carbon dioxide emissions have skyrocketed. The burning of fossil fuels like coal, natural gas, and oil are responsible for 87% of all human-produced carbon dioxide emissions. The remainder comes from the clearing of forests and other land use changes at 9%, and industrial processes such as cement manufacturing at 4%. Burning fossil fuels releases energy, which is most commonly turned into heat, electricity, or the power for transportation. Out of the 3 fossil fuels mentioned beforehand, coal is the most carbon intensive. Burning just 1 ton of coal produces nearly 2.5 tons of CO2, making coal the biggest carbon dioxide producer out of all fossil fuels. Coal is responsible for 43% of all carbon dioxide emissions from fossil fuels. As far back as middle school, we all learned that plants go through a process called photosynthesis, where the plant takes light in and converts it into energy, using carbon dioxide and releasing oxygen. This is why land use changes are also substantial in contributing to carbon dioxide emissions globally, accounting for 9% of human emissions. Land use changes were accountable for 3.3 billion tons of carbon dioxide in 2011. According to the article, What Are the Main Sources of Carbon Dioxide Emissions?, released in 2013 on What's Your Impact? Land use changes are when the natural environment is converted for human use. For instance, agricultural land or settlements. This land is converted using deforestation. It is the process by which standing forests are permanently removed. Deforestation is the most important and devastating type of land use change because of its enormous impact on carbon dioxide emissions. Since deforestation removes the amount of trees, it also reduces the amount of carbon dioxide removed by Earth's forests. Also, industrial processes produce significant amounts of carbon dioxide due to the chemical reactions needed in their production. Industrial processes were accountable for 1.7 billion tons of carbon dioxide emitted in 2011. Cement manufacturing produces the most carbon dioxide. Making 1,000 kilograms of cement produces nearly 900 kilograms of carbon dioxide, which is vented straight into our atmosphere. The amount of carbon dioxide vented into our atmosphere is causing the natural carbon cycle to be thrown off balance. With so much carbon in our atmosphere, it's causing even more thermal radiation to be redirected, thus heating the planet. According to the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies, 2014 ranks as the warmest year on record at 0.68 degrees Celsius above average. Warming global temperatures mean warming oceans too. Since the oceans absorb so much of this increased heat, the top 700 meters, or 2,300 feet, have shown a warming from negative 0.21 degrees Celsius to negative 0.17 degrees Celsius. This major increase is going to impact more than just our summer storms and our summer droughts and winter storms. Climate change this severe can cause problems with agriculture, energy, water supply, and the health of people, plants, animals, and the ecosystems we live in. That is, climate change this severe can cause these problems unless we stop it in its tracks. Many solutions have been advocated for to help prevent climate change from advancing. Greenpeace International, an organization devoted to the protection and conservation of the Earth, advocated several of these solutions in June of 2014, such as, first, having developed countries make cuts of 40% to their 1990 carbon emissions by 2020. Second, enacting bills that protect tropical forests. And finally, switching from fossil fuels to smart, clean energy. In order to reduce our carbon dioxide emissions, it's essential that everyone does their part, especially the government. By switching to clean energy like solar, wind, and hydroelectric, it reduces the amount of carbon dioxide emissions from the burning of fossil fuels. The Union of Concerned Scientists found that if we switched just 25% of the United States over to solar-powered energy, we would reduce our carbon dioxide emission by 277 million metric tons. Some people worry that switching to renewable energy will be a financial burden. However, after tax credits and grants, the average cost of switching a home to solar-powered energy comes down to $12,000 to $16,000. Wow, the utility bill saves nearly $70,000 over the 25-year lifespan of the system, making renewable energy extremely cost-effective. Switching even just 25% of the country over to solar-powered energy would hugely improve the state of climate change and be a big step towards complete renewable energy reliance. Melting ice caps, global warming, rising sea temperature, and disappearing forests. These are all parts of climate change, but not natural climate change. These are all parts of human-induced climate change, which is much worse than its natural counterpart. Today, we explored natural climate change, provided evidence that humans are causing climate change to worsen, and discovered some fairly simple solutions to prevent climate change from magnifying and destroying life. Please, when you think of climate change, I urge you to consider converting to renewable energy. Not only will you help the state of the climate, you might help save the life of a starving polar bear.